Welcome back to another episode of Life's a Garden. It has been an extremely exhausting couple of days, and it's not over yet. We got more action to come the next few days, so we're just right in the middle of it. Currently recording this in between day 2 days worth of our shows with Cutthroat. We had one last night, we have one tonight. This was literally the only time slot I had all weekend to do the podcast, so I had to squeeze this bad boy in, and of course I'm going to make sure I get that done for you guys. But I gotta tell you, man, long nights. Had a late night Thursday, had a late night last night, definitely going to have a late night tonight, and so we're enjoying it. It's taking it out of me, but I'm not complaining. And you know what's the biggest remedy of it all? You know what makes it all just so much better? That's right, baby. Football's back! And that just gives me all the energy I need to make it through this weekend. Tonight, this Monday night, the Denver Broncos, Russell Wilson heads back to Seattle, where you know it's going to get awfully dangerous. So you know I'm going to crack open a cold one for that. Cheers to the Denver Broncos, cheers to football being back, and cheers to another great episode. Let's get into it. It's episode 117 of Life's a Garden. Yes, sir. We are back. Football is back. What a great time to be alive. Well, I guess unless you're Queen Elizabeth, but it's a great time to be alive if you're a sports fan. I'll tell you that right here. Want to give a big thank you to everybody who came out to the shows this weekend. Thank you to all the bands that we played with. Thank you to Craft Local. Thank you to Andy's Bar for hosting. Thank you to people who ran sound. Just overall, thank you to everybody, especially if you came out and supported. This was I can tell you right now, a very fun weekend. Like I said, I'm recording this before the second show, but I can tell you right now, I've already had a blast. The first show was great. Not a lot of people showed up, but to be fair, there was a lot of stuff going on in town. So it's hard to, sometimes that happens. And hopefully we'll get a good turnout tonight. I'm imagining it. I mean, ultimately, it's just going to be a good time. We're going to have fun. I'm looking forward to it. And I can just, I'm already having a blast with it. I'm already having a blast just doing the back-to-back shows. And last night was fun. It really was. Went out afterwards. Like I said, late night. Thursday night, the reason it was a late night was because it was NFL kickoff. Went out, watched the game. Great game, by the way. Go Bills. And Von Miller, my boy. He lit it up that night. What else? And then obviously a late night last night. Can only imagine it'll be a late night tonight. In fact, it'll probably be a really late night because I do want to catch the UFC fight. Because what a crazy turn of events with that. The three main fights all got rearranged. So Nate Diaz was supposed to fight Khamzat Chimaev. Chimaev misses weight. And so they mix everything up. Now it's Nate Diaz versus Tony Ferguson, which I think is a much better matchup anyway. Like, Khamzat was probably going to just destroy Nate. And even if he didn't, that's not the guy you want to see Nate go, because this is more than likely Nate's last fight in the UFC. So you want to see him actually maybe at least feel like he has a chance. Obviously, if he would have beat Khamzat, that would have been even more incredible. But I just like the matchup with Tony Ferguson. Tony's a seasoned vet, They're both strikers. So I think you're looking for a much more entertaining fight in this one. And then you got Hamzat fighting, what's his name? He is fighting, Kevin Holland, which is going to be a terrible matchup for Kevin Holland. I think Kevin Holland's going to just get out-wrestled, and we'll see how that goes. But kudos to Kevin Holland for taking that matchup. Kudos to all those guys for switching up their opponents like that. That's very it's so rare to get anybody to do that, much less 6 fighters. All 6 fighters are fighting different people. And Li Jiang or whatever, Jing Liang, he's fighting Daniel Rodriguez, and Rodriguez weighed in 10 pounds heavier. So I can only imagine each of these guys are going to get big bonuses. They deserve it for doing this and making this card happen. Except for Hamzat. Fuck that dude. I know he's a stud and whatever, but he fucked the whole card up. It's his fault that all this happened, because he missed weight by like almost 10 pounds. He missed by like 8.5 pounds, which is unheard of to miss weight like that, especially in a huge fight like that. So I think he should have to sacrifice some of his pay. But you know what? He is fighting a guy at the same weight now. So let him have his regular pay, but he doesn't get no bonus. Fuck that. Even if he outperforms those guys, Kevin Holland deserves a bonus for taking that fight. Anyway, I more than likely will go do the show and then buy the pay-per-view and watch it at home. So it could be a very late night for your boy here. And then, of course, waking up tomorrow early to get some football action in me. All day tomorrow. Sunday is going to be a full football day from dusk till dawn. Yeah, it's going to be just a football day, which I'm stoked about. I can't even tell you how much I'm excited to have football back. Also with football being back, it's like this. It's not just it's overly exciting for me, because not only is football back in the sense of the sport itself, I feel like football is back for me as a Broncos fan, because there's just like a new, it's like a resurgence for us. Like we got our franchise quarterback now. We've got a new head coach, new owner. It's just like a whole breath of fresh air, like a new wave. And not only is football back in the sense of the sport, which I love, but it's back for me personally as a Broncos fan. So big thumbs up all around. Super excited, super stoked for all that. And I can't wait. I'll give you some more predictions here later. First thing I want to talk about, though, the Queen, man. The Queen is dead. Queen Elizabeth II, I do believe. I mean, everyone thought she was going to just live forever, right? I didn't realize she was only 90, like not only 96, but the way they talk about her, you'd think she was 106. Yeah, I mean, always, I don't ever like to make light of people's deaths or anything like that. So at the expense of sounding, heartless or whatever, my condolences to the royal family. And, obviously, it's always sad when somebody passes away. That being said, obviously a giant outpouring of condolences and emotion on social media. Everybody, RIP to the Queen. My goodness, I can't believe the Queen is dead. Like, oh my gosh, all these posts about how wonderful she was and how this and that and how they're going to miss her and this and that. Here's my take on that. Who cares? Like, why do you care? You know what I mean? Like, why do you care so much? I understand if you're from Britain, like they have a little bit of a different idea of what the Queen represents. But the royal family, first of all, has zero power. Like, maybe they have some, they probably have some, like, social power where, like, they can influence. They have like influential power, but they don't have political power. They have like zero political power. Britain is run by a parliament, so no power there. That like the changing of the guard, the changing of the like now Charles is the king means nothing. It literally means nothing. It's not like I couldn't tell. Like, honest to God, and this is me as an American who does not pay attention to, you know, royalty or any other like foreign dealings and things like that. But did she really do anything besides be queen? I mean, I can't tell you any of her real accomplishments. It's like, I can, this is crazy, but I can to an extent understand why people get upset when actors die, when musicians die, because you lose the artist. You lose, like, now you don't get to have them make art anymore. I can understand when people get upset about, you know, I guess politicians in some way, those who like actually made a difference and made a change, or just like people who are in activism and things like that. I couldn't tell you a goddamn thing she did besides give birth to Charles, and then they gave birth to the princes. You know what I mean? It's like she's just part of the royalty. You know what I mean? Like, that's it. I guess she's an influencer, so, which is weird to say when you think about like what an influencer is today. And the thing of it is, it's like, they're just a bunch of rich people. Like, that's all it is. They have no power. First of all, why the fuck is the royal family still even a fucking thing? Like, why do we even let this be a thing? It's not real. Like, it's just this old... It's this old archetype thing that like has no meaning at all anymore. It's not Game of Thrones, like Charles doesn't become king and now everything changes in Britain, or like all these big changes are going to be made because now he's king. There's no impact whatsoever to that happening, to her dying, to him becoming king. None of it means anything. It's all pageantry. It's all glitz and glamour. And they're gonna, of course, have this giant funeral, I'm sure. Just like they have the giant weddings that all the white bitches fucking tune into for no reason. The same white bitches, by the way, that complain about billionaires and, you know, billionaire celebrities, billionaire corporations, things like that. What do you think the royal fucking family is? You think they're poor? They live in a palace. Literally. They're kings, they're queens, they're princes and princesses. They got more money. I you know, obviously it's not on record the amount of money they have, but they probably have more money. They got like Saudi money. They got like Saudi prince money. They're princes and kings and queens and shit like that, you know? Like, they have like unobtainable, unimaginable amounts of money. Yet people are so like drawn into the pageantry of it because it's just like people, I guess, just have this weird love for royalty, the idea of royalty. Like, I couldn't give a fuck less. It really means nothing to me, and I don't understand why people are so interested in it, especially here when it has no... I can kind of give a break to the Brits, even though it's still ridiculous because you have a parliament, and it's just almost like, why? Why are we doing this? Why is this still a thing? It's just like one of those old traditions that just never dies. But anyway, I get it a little bit from their side of it, just because they're more involved in it. It's more of their culture, more of their thing. Why the fuck do people in America give a single fuck? Like, it would be honestly no different than if Kim Kardashian died. It's the same thing. Like, the Kardashians or the royal family of America. That's what it is. They're just rich influencers with no talent and no power, no real power. Like, their power comes from money and from influence. It has nothing to do with, like, executive power, I suppose. There's no executive power whatsoever. So, if Kim Kardashian died, it would be the exact same thing. And I suppose people would be outcrying with emotion. But when you compare the two, when you make the comparison, again, who really gives a fuck? Just saying. Just saying. Again, sad. When anybody passes away, she's somebody's mother, she's somebody's grandmother. You know, she's a human. So I'm not sitting here saying, like, I'm glad she's dead. I don't really, you know. But again, it doesn't, there's no effect. And if anybody is affected by it, as a celebrity death, because like I said, I can get on the level of somebody who is upset by celebrity death. This one, though, what'd she do to make you so, like, what impact on your life did the Queen of England have to you? And then you got these pussies up north in Canada whose song, their national anthem, I believe, is God Save the Queen. About the British Queen. And half of them fucking speak French. Like, Canada doesn't know what the fuck they are. They're Canadian, but they also are French, but they also are British. Like, huh? Also, maybe I'm a little biased and maybe a little, hold a little bit of a grudge in some way, because Britain can just straight up go fuck themselves. Here's the other thing too. This is why it's also funny that everyone's like sad about, the Queen and things like that. These are the people who are sad about the Queen and tune into those fucking weddings are the same people who cry out about billionaires, which they are, cry out about racism, which they are. They cry out, yeah, they literally have been proven to be racist as shit. Also, they're the same people that cry about injustices here in America with slavery and Native Americans, things like that. Like, all the major injustices. How about the injustices the Brits have made over hundreds of years on my people, the Scottish, and the fucking Irish? Like, Scotland is still part of the UK. Northern Ireland is still part of the UK. Southern Ireland had to fight for their independence to get away from the crown. And they were horrible to our people. You ever see the movie Braveheart? That's what that movie's about. Is Scotland fighting for their independence. William Wallace trying to fight for Scotland's independence. And they strung his ass up and quartered him. Like, they're oppressors just as much as anybody else. But let's weep for the Queen. Make sure you weep for the Queen, whose dynasty, whose legacy, whose bloodline are just as much horrible oppressors as anyone else. So, tell me about how horrible the colonials were, who, by the way, were British, who came over here from Britain, and we fought for our independence from them. So, you tell me who the oppressors are here. You know what I mean? Like, be upset about the Queen, but also, that's the legacy, that's the bloodline that starts, that comes from all oppression. That starts, like, the majority of oppression that you motherfuckers are upset about. And then you got the whole Meghan Markle thing where, she was really just overly like, she couldn't believe that they were racist. No shit, dude. They're like inbreds. They're like they're like the Targaryens. They fight to make sure their bloodlines are as pure as possible. They're about as racist as they come. And you were confused by that? Also, she was born in the 20s. Like, that's confusing to you? That's the same thing where, like, people are confused that John Wayne was racist. Yeah, that's the time and era that he grew up in. So, to be confused that the Queen might possibly be racist, or any of those guys, for that matter. Forget the Queen, how about any of those guys? Her son was a pedophile, by the way. People just, like, kind of brush that under the rug. You can't tell me she wasn't involved in multiple nefarious, like, activities. Just a sweet old lady. Come on, dude. I bet she was knee deep in nefarious activities. I mean, there's conspiracy theories that she had Diana killed. I mean, obviously there's ties to Epstein and things like the Illuminati, whatever you might believe about that. But money is power. So when I said she's not powerful, I guess I was wrong. Obviously, like I said, influential power, monetary power, but she's powerful in the ways the Rothschilds are powerful. You know what I mean? Like, a very behind the curtain powerful. Doesn't pass laws, but I'm sure probably does. Probably under the table gets shit done. Because, like I said, just money, money, money. Same way here, lobbyists kind of control the way things go. She's just the ultimate lobbyist. So I suppose the changing of the guard could mean something if King Charles has anything up his sleeve that he wants to get done. But yeah, Meghan Markle, they make this big deal about Meghan Markle. Who the fuck is she? She was an actor, like a failed actor, who is screaming about how black she is and how the Queen is racist. She doesn't look awfully black to me. Now, I'm not saying she's not. I believe she does have some African American in her, or whatever the correct terminology is. But guess what? You clearly got some white in you too. I mean, I'm speaking out of turn here, speaking out of pocket. But she looks like she's, mixed. Would I be incorrect to say that? She's clearly not full African American, full black. So and this is what's so annoying to me. Anybody who has any hint of ethnicity in them that's not white, but people forget white is also an ethnicity. But because white is so bad, bad white man, you know what I mean? Like, we've been just spoon fed and shoved down our necks about how horrible the white people are. And don't get me wrong, of course, we've had atrocities. We've committed multiple atrocities in the span of history and time, as have every other race. The Egyptians, the Egyptians enslaved the Jews. Guess what Egyptians are? Africans. There's currently African genocides happening in Africa by Africans against other Africans. But we don't talk about that because it's interracial. It's not interracial. It's the same race. So it's not one race taking out another race. So it's not headline news. It's not racist if it's your own race, but you're still committing genocides. So what are we talking about here? Anyway, back to what I was originally saying about the where was I going with that? God. Meghan Markle. Oh, yeah. Anybody who has other ethnicity besides white in them always claim that ethnicity more than white, because they gotta be exotic, or they don't want to be known as whitey, whitey bad. You know what I mean? Because that's just what we've been taught. And again, this goes back to my thing. You're all sad about the queen, but she's the whiteyest of them all. Like, her family dynasty created most of the oppression that has begot the whole world. That royal family. You know what I mean? But by God, be upset. God save the queen. But yeah, so Meghan Markle, of course, she's all like, I'm black. But you're not. Like, you're part black. You're also part white. You're also, you might be part fucking Filipino for all I know. You're all kinds of different stuff. Most people are these days. So don't pull the fucking race card. And yeah, I'm sure they were racist. Like, no shit. I could have told you that. You're the one who married into this shit. And then she makes this big stink about the whole thing. You dumb bitch. You convinced Prince Harry to renounce his role in the royal family. Did you not think about how much fucking money was involved in that? And now she's got this podcast that, who gives a fuck? Again, who gives a fuck what she thinks? Who's tuning into that? Is she just like this? Does she have some high intellect that we must consume? Obviously, these are my opinions. But anyway, just the ultimate hypocrisy of everything. It's always so funny to me, like how all the same people that cry out about racism and cry out about billionaires and things like that, they're sad that the queen is dead. And then there's those that also, let me just say this too, there's also the people that do see the hypocrisies of all that and then just shout it from the rooftops. I guess kind of like how I am, but it's just like, okay, there's a level to that's obnoxious as well. You know what I mean? So I'm not a fan of gaslighting in any side of it, but for entertainment's sake, here I am talking about it, and ultimately, in the end, doesn't affect me, and Britain can go fuck themselves for all I care. Because they oppressed my people for years, so... But nobody wants to talk about that, again, because they're both white. So, because it wasn't one race taking on, doing atrocity to a different race, it's not that big of a deal, I guess. And the Holocaust, the reason that was so, obviously, because a lot of Jews were white, but obviously they were against black people too, and any race that wasn't white. The Germans, or I'm not even going to call it the Germans, the Nazis were against anybody that wasn't Aryan. But the Jew thing was because it was a Jewish thing. It was, I've always been confused by the Jewish thing, if you would consider them, is it a religion and a race? I suppose? I don't know. I've always been kind of confused by that. Because obviously Jewish people can be from anywhere. You can be Jewish and you can be black and Jewish. You can be, I don't know. So Judaism is a religion, but Jewish people, take, they talk about Jewishness like it's a race too. So I've always been confused by that. Anyway. That'll probably get me in trouble for saying that. God knows. But, let me transition this by saying, you know what, the racism and all that stuff, another kind of funny thing to me about it is, America gets such flack about being this racist country, this, that, and the other. I don't think we are. I mean, we're the ultimate melting pot of a country. You know what I mean? What was it I just saw recently where, speaking of Canada, the do-gooders of the world, can't go wrong with, everybody wants to move to Canada, even though it's 90% fucking white. You're not getting any diversity there. Quebec, Canada, just made it illegal. If you're a citizen of Quebec, you must speak French as a second language. You must at least be able to speak French. And I think possibly, even if you visit there, I don't think that's true, but if you are a resident of Quebec, you have to be able to speak French. That sounds an awful lot like how people are like, well, we should be able to speak Spanish or whatever, it's all, you know what I mean? I guess I'm confusing myself because, I don't think you should be forced to speak a language. There's the native language of every country, but you're going to force people to speak that language. Yeah, I don't know about that. Anyway, people do learn Spanish here, and people are accepting of Spanish speakers, but we don't force people to speak Spanish or American. We don't force Spanish speakers to come here and speak English. That's what I'm saying. America is still fine with people speaking Spanish, and obviously people get upset about that shit. There's a group of people that are like, if you're here, you should speak English, but we don't force people to, is my point. Definitely the most diverse country, if you ask me. I might be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure we're fairly diverse in every which way. But here's the whole point I'm getting to. The great equalizer in racism, or in race, in unity, in what's the word I'm looking for? Diversity, I suppose. The great equalizer is sports. Yet again, sports comes to the fucking rescue in whatever, in a debate, in a broad issue. Sports saves the motherfucking day. The great equalizer. How could you possibly be a sports fan and be racist? You're a walking contradiction at that point. Unless you're, I guess, you could say hockey, because hockey is very white, even though there's been a very large influx of more ethnicities playing hockey lately. Because I think for a long time hockey wasn't pushed into the mainstream. And NASCAR's gotten very diverse. More women driving, more ethnic drivers. Lewis Hamilton obviously is not NASCAR. He's F1 or F1. Who's also, by the way, co-owner of the Broncos. He's, I'm pretty sure, at least part black, if I'm not mistaken. I don't want to misidentify him, but he's mixed, I believe, of something. So it's sports, the great equalizer, man. Look at soccer. It's the world's most famous sport, even though it sucks dick. And it's the most, popular sport. You get teams from Mexico, you get teams from Europe, you get teams from America, Brazil, everywhere. And we all watch them, and I don't, but everybody watches each of these teams and enjoys. Because here's the thing with sports, okay? Here's the thing with sports. It ultimately doesn't matter what color your skin is. It doesn't matter what your religious background is. It doesn't matter anything. The only thing that matters is performance. We don't look at somebody and say, I'm going to put him on my team because he's black, or because he's white, or because he's Asian. It all comes down to performance. Can you perform this task at the highest level? If you can do it, you're on my team. I want that guy. I want the guy that runs faster than the other guy. I want the guy that jumps higher. I want the guy who puts in the work, the guy that shows up on time. And that's what matters in the world. Like, if you took that same mentality and put it in the everyday life, well, that's the end of racism right there, baby. If, like, I'm not gonna it's just like at work. You know, I'm not gonna hire the guy who I think, you know, who, whatever. I'm not gonna hire this guy because he's white. I'm gonna hire whoever, man, woman, black, white, Mexican, Asian. I'm gonna hire whoever performs the job best. And obviously, I believe you should pay everybody appropriately as to what they are worth, or what you know what I mean? Like, as far as equal pay and shit like that goes, like, yeah, you should be compensated evenly for the work that you do. You know, but anyway, if you applied that to every day, then that's the end of racism, man. Like, if the content of your heart, the content of your character, that's who I want to be friends with. Because here's the thing. There's still good and bad people. That doesn't change. I want the good people in my life. I want the people who perform at life well around me. I don't want the people who perform and make bad choices around me. All that shit. You know what I mean? Like, if you judge somebody based on the content of their character and the actions of their heart, that's the way people should be judged. But unfortunately, also, we got to keep this in mind too. We're currently in a society now. It's like the anti-race. You know, there's this anti-racism where if you hate, if you make it like known that you hate somebody because they're a bad person and they just so happen to be non-white, well, then you're a racist. Maybe I hate this guy and called him a fucking douche because he's a douche. Not because he's black, because he's a douche. But in today's society, God forbid you ever say anything bad about, you know, a race that isn't your own. Let's just say that. But sports truly is the great. I mean, look at me. I'm rocking a Russell Wilson jersey, dude. Black quarterback, man. And I don't see him like that. Like, that's not what I look at him as. When we got Russell Wilson, the first thing that went through my head wasn't he's black. I went, that dude's a fucking great quarterback. I want him on my team. Like, that's, and he's a good dude on top of that. Not only is he a great quarterback, he's a good dude. That's the kind of guy I want as the captain and the quarterback of my team. You know what I mean? Like I said, you're a walking contradiction if you're a true racist and a sports fan. Because there's all walks of life in sports. You cannot be a fan of a team and hate half the team. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't work that way. And that's why I think this whole idea of racism in America is way overblown. Of course there's still racists out there. There's ignorant people everywhere. And I bet they're not sports fans. I bet they don't watch sports. You know what I mean? Or UFC, you know what I mean? Like, there's people from UFC all over the globe. And you don't like them because they're from a certain nation. I've rooted for guys who are going against American fighters because I like them better, because they are a better performer, because I enjoy the person that they are. You know what I mean? All the time. I've rooted for dudes all the time from other countries and other nations and other backgrounds. Because that's what sports are, man. And that's why sports are the fucking GOAT. Anyway, that was my transition into talking about sports, ultimately, to transition from the race thing to the sports talk. Because guess what? As I said in the beginning, football is motherfucking back. And let's talk about that. So this episode will come out Monday. Unfortunately, won't be able to recap the Sunday games because I'm filming this on Saturday. But I can talk to you about the Thursday game. I was not shocked. You know what I mean? Like, I was not shocked that the Bills did what they did to the defending Super Bowl champs. Because, and nothing against the Rams, they're a great team, but the Bills are a really good team. And everybody thought the Rams were going to come out and just be this something crazy, you know, something they were going to be like the Super Bowl champs. That Super Bowl hangover shit is real sometimes. And they lost a few good pieces. And guess what? Jalen Ramsey, overrated, if I do say so myself. That dude gets burned so often, yet they like tout him like he's just like this unreal cornerback. Don't get me wrong. He's good, but he ain't just like the second coming of Christ when it comes to the cornerback position. I can tell you that right now. He's also a huge douche. So I was happy to see him get burned on several occasions. Now, I could give you my predictions of the week, but it doesn't really matter. All I'm going to tell you is Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos are going to ride into Seattle tonight, Monday Night Football, the first Monday Night Football game of the year, and they are going to beat some Seahawk ass. That's my prediction for the week, and that's all you need. I think I gave my divisional predictions already, so I won't bore you with that again. I'm sticking, before I was very trying not to be biased about the AFC West, because it is the most competitive division in football right now. Happens to be my division. And truly, I do believe any one of those teams could rise above and be the winner of that division. And I'm sticking to my thoughts that 3 of those teams are going to make the playoffs. But I'm taking back my biasy, and I truly believe the Denver Broncos will be the number 1 team in the AFC West. It's going to be a very tough division to play in. But I just think we're going to do it, man. And I'm sticking to my bold prediction that not only will the Kansas City Chiefs not win the division, they aren't even going to make the playoffs. That's my bold prediction. Don't get me wrong. Like, they could easily make the playoffs, and it wouldn't shock me. But I'm just making a bold statement, bold prediction that they will not do so. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Fantasy football, got done with all my drafts in fantasy football. Obviously, the season started now. 3 leagues. I am in 3 leagues this year. Usually I do 2. 1 is not enough. 3 feels like too many sometimes, but now that I've gotten into it more, definitely 3 is a good number. So all 3 money leagues, we will see how that pans out in the end. I'm pretty stoked about it, honestly. And I'm happy with all my drafts. I thought I drafted pretty well, kept a good strategy. I got in all 3 of my leagues, I got top 5 quarterback on my list in all of them. One of them I have Josh Allen, I got Justin Herbert in the other one, and I got Cool Joe Burrow in the other one. So I'm very excited about that. Sports betting, oh man. We'll see how the first 3 weeks of football goes, because it could be a long season for me. Well, if I lose my ass in the first 3 weeks of football, I'm definitely going to chill out my betting. I already lost 1 bet on Thursday because I was like, I got to have some action on this game. You know what I mean? It was the first game of the season. Had to get me some action. Didn't play out the way I was hoping for. But nonetheless, going to be betting every week on the games. So we will see how that goes. It's going to be exciting and fun to say the least. I'm just excited that football's back, man. It's awesome. It's the greatest sport. And I just found this out too. A couple weeks ago, remember I was talking about how football and sports run the basic network television. It's true. Apparently, last year, the top 100 viewed things in television, like the top 100 viewed programs on basic television, were all football, whether it was college or NFL. All of them, every single one. Football is king. Don't tell me about how soccer is the most popular sport in the world. Don't give a fuck. Don't tell me how baseball is America's pastime. Fuck all that. Football is king. There's nothing you can say to change my mind. I myself am a huge UFC fan as well, but UFC can kick it to the curb if it's between MMA or football. Football is, without a doubt, the greatest sport in the world, and you will never be able to change my mind on that. Also, just to blend the whole episode together, hey, Denver's playing in London this year. How about that? I'm sure they'll have a big old thing for the Queen. Woo! Whoop-de-fucking-do. God, I can't wait for tomorrow. I'm literally going to show up at 10 o'clock at Hooligans, and I'm not going to leave until probably whenever I probably won't stay for the night game because that's just too much time at one place. But I might go somewhere else for the Sunday night game. Because usually I watch the Broncos game at home. Since they're playing on Monday, I'm going to watch it here at home on Monday. So all day Sunday, I'm watching all the games. I want to sit there and watch all the games. I want to be where each TV has a game on it. I got action on several games. I got my fantasy football app. Dude, it's going to be so fucking awesome. God, I get hard thinking about it. Like, you want to get my rocks off, just start talking about football and my ears perk up. My blood flows to the penile area and I'm rock hard. Like, that's how you get me. If you want to get my attention, just say football. And I'm like, eh? I'm like one of those guys in those TikTok videos where their girlfriend or wife starts playing the Monday Night Football thing, bum, 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 and then they come running into the room. That's exactly who I am. Anyway, let's finish out the episode. I just wanted to bring this up because on the last solo episode I did, I was reading old Facebook posts, and there was one that I totally missed. And I had a whole thing I wanted to say about it because, I don't know, I saw it and I was like, damn, this would have been a good thing to talk about. So, I'm just going to talk about it right now. I'm not going to read the Facebook post itself because I don't want to bore you with that, and I already did that bit. Essentially, what the post said was, it was this big, long, dumb fucking thing, probably back in 2010 when I posted all my rants and just ridiculous shit. Basically, it was saying how, it was the whole adage of nice guys finish last. And it was this big, like, sob story about how, I'm this nice, I do everything right. I try and be a good guy. I'm friendly to people. I do all the good things, and yet, nothing good happens for me. And the thing of that is, when I put myself back into being, this seems to be like the running notion for guys that can't get laid. You know what I mean? Like, that seems to be those are the people that say that. The guys that can't get girlfriends, the guys that can't, that's always the thing. The nice guy finishes last. All the jerk douches get all the girls. Well, that's not, I can see why people think that because sometimes it is true. And women, there's certain women who have a tendency to enjoy the struggle of a guy who is a piece of shit. Also, a lot of guys who are pieces of shit are just really good looking. So that's something that you have going against you in certain ways too, if you happen to be a good guy and ugly. Which I mean, back then in high school, I didn't have many girlfriends, and I was the nice guy, and all the girls that I was chasing after they weren't into nice guys. They were into douches. They were into like the bad boy or whatever. So that was my whole notion, was nice guys finish last. And I'm here to tell you that is absolutely so fucking wrong. Anybody who tells you that nice guys finish last are idiots. They are dead ass wrong, because everything I've ever gotten in my life, like every good thing that has ever happened to me, didn't happen because I was a douche. Like, I didn't get where I'm at. I didn't get anything in my life by being a douche or being an asshole. All the good things that happened to me were because I was a good person, and that's just it. Good things happen to good people. That's the adage. That's the motto you should live by if you're a nice guys finish last kind of person. Good things happen to good people. And that is the goddamn truth. So long as that's karma, dude. Like, that is the law of karma. If you do good, good happens to you. If you put good into the world, good will be given back to you. That's just it, man. Do you know how many, like, think about all the bad people in the world who have bad things happen to them. Yeah, they might be successful because they're, cutthroat in the business world, or they're greedy politicians, or like kind of pieces of shit like that. They don't have good lives. Like, bad shit happens to them too. Not everything's sunshine and rainbows with all these douches, because a lot of bad people put on the front that they're okay, or that everything's good to go. Or here's my favorite one is that they don't care what people think. Sometimes maybe that's true, but I bet you deep down they do. Here's the thing. I would rather be mildly successful, knowing that I got that success by being a good person. And here's the thing. If you're a good person, people want to be around you. I'm not going to... If a bad dude is asking me for help, why would I help him? Why am I going to help a guy who's not going to help others? As somebody who tries to live good and be a positive person, more than likely if I ask for help, somebody's going to give me that help. If I'm a good person in the music industry, people are going to want to work with me. People are going to want to be involved with my band and want us to play shows. Work. I show up. I'm a good guy. I'm a good worker. I'm a polite person. That reflects, man. Like, you don't get fired. You don't get shit on. You get raises. Like, it all... I mean, I could tell you about stuff that's just been given to me. Like, really, really good shit that's been given to me because they knew I, was a good person enough to deserve it. So, I mean, my home was what's the word I'm looking for? Passed down to me, I guess. It was inherited. I inherited this home. It was my uncle's home. Obviously, as him being my uncle, I technically didn't have any claim to this home. He didn't have a kid. He didn't have a wife. So there was no, heir to his belongings. So, and his mother had passed. His father had passed. So, as there is a legal line of succession as to what belongings go to where. In my uncle's case, it was his brothers, his family, his brothers, his sisters. Well, guess what? They knew that I was the rightful person to have this, because like, obviously, me and my uncle's relationship was very close. He was very much like a father to me. And here's the thing. Not only they knew I deserved it, but if I was a piece of shit, if they knew me as like a total a person that screwed people over, or a person that screwed them over, or a person that was just going to abuse this place, or a person that was going to just like sell it and, use money for drugs or for, doing bad shit, they wouldn't have give it. They wouldn't have let me have it. They wouldn't have just signed over the rights to me. Fuck no, they wouldn't have. But they did, because they knew I was a good person. So this whole nice guys finish last thing, bullshit. Like, that's all I gotta say about that. It's absolute bullshit. Anybody who says that is 100% wrong. And if you're one of those people, you need to get that thought out of your head. Because, like I said, everything I've ever gotten in my life, or any successes I've ever found in life, were because I was a good person. So, nice guys absolutely do not finish last. They finish first every time. And, I mean, they finish first in the end. Think about that. Like, in death, you're remembered. And that's like all you ever want from your life. You want legacy. You want to be remembered. You want people to fondly remember you. So, yeah, you finish first in the end. Think about it that way. So, go out there, be a good person, spread positivity. That's the message of the show always, Be a good guy. Don't be a bad person, because karma, man. The laws of karma, the laws of the universe, they will come back, and they are as real as they get. Let me tell you about that. You know what I mean? It is as real as it gets. And so, that's what I'll leave you with here on a Monday. I'm going to go watch me some football. I am going to get wasted drunk tonight, tomorrow. No, I'm not. Trust me, I'm not going to get wasted drunk. I didn't get wasted drunk last night because I knew I had another show today. But I am going to have a good time. I will have a very late night each of these nights. Work on Monday is going to suck. Work on Tuesday is going to suck. But you know what? It's all for the fun. It's all for living life, having fun. You don't get that back. You just got to have fun with every moment. Don't waste time. Don't waste life. Go out there and live it up, because that's what you got to do, man. That's what you got to do. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, do all that stuff. Yeah. Just live your life, man. Be a good person. Do good things. Good things will happen for you. Don't waste time. Don't waste life. Because, as you should already know, life's a garden. Dig it.